Stock keeping unit. This is basically just a code that Amazon give to every product. Basically, every product on Amazon has an FNSKU, and this is what you get paid on. So the FNSKU will be related to your account. So it's just a label, a sticker that you put on. So you'll generate the label, stick it on, and then you know you get paid every time that item sells. Prep in line with Amazon guidelines. Again, Amazon guidelines, I would always recommend sticking. They've got an oversized heavy category and a normal category. The normal category, the boxes cannot be over 63.5 centimeters length on any one side, and they need to weigh under 15 kilos. So you can have multiple products in there. You could go out and source 5 or 6 products, put them in a box, label the box, and send that into Amazon. So it really is quite simple. I'm saying it's very simple, but are you with me? Does it sound simple?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think you'd sort of have to do it once or twice, Rich, to reiterate and rinse and repeat it.
Yeah, definitely. The more you do these things and the more knowledge you build. The problem is I'm touching upon arbitrage and private label now in giving you the whole thing of Amazon in just 4 hours. I could talk about arbitrage for a solid day on its own, and then private label again, you could go into it for 2 to 3 days and go really in depth with it. But as you say, it's kind of rinse and repeat and learning. It's having the skills, learning the knowledge, and then it becomes a lot clearer with you. If I had time now, I could do a live demonstration and show you exactly step by step. This is the seller account. This is exactly how you would log in. This is how you would list the product. And I would go through it step by step. But obviously that alone would probably take me an hour. But just to give you an idea that it is quite simple. And like I say, arbitrage is definitely the simplest way and the quickest way to see a return. So separate shipping into Amazon, this is really easy because Amazon have a relationship with UPS that we touched upon earlier. So when you register the item to ship on Amazon, and this is basically just an online form. So you literally put in how many items, how much do they weigh, what the measurements of them are. It's as simple as that. It's very, very easy stuff. They then will generate, if it needs to go in a bag or it needs to be bubble wrapped, Amazon will tell you. It will pop up and say, this item needs to be in a bag. So it's very, very simple. Same with the FNSKU barcode. It sounds difficult, but Amazon will flash up and say this needs to have a barcode on it. So, and then once everything's set and they've given you the fulfillment center to send to, because Amazon have a relationship with UPS, you can do this through your Amazon account. So you don't need a UPS account. It's already done, and the money will just come out of your Amazon account or out of the bank associated with your Amazon account. And they will then give you the labels to affix to your box. And then UPS will either collect, or UPS have a good relationship with, there's quite a lot of small convenience stores that have UPS drop-off points. Yeah. So you could literally just box it and go and drop it off on your way to work or whatever suits you, really. You wait for them to be processed in the fulfillment center. You basically watch them sell. You watch the money come in. You set your prices. You monitor your competition, and this is the important part with arbitrage because you're obviously competing with other sellers. And you adjust your price when required. So the goal here is to be cheaper than the other sellers by at least 50p to a pound, because then you're more than likely to get the sale. So you need to go and find those items that are on clearance, that are on sale, that you can source cheap enough. And don't penny under price. Don't try and just be a penny cheaper, because it's unlikely you'll get the sale by being a penny cheaper against an established seller. You want to be at least kind of 50 pence to a pound cheaper. Online or retail sourcing? Any idea which one do we think would be better? Sourcing online or sourcing by retail? You like online, don't you? I can tell. Well, it comes down to profit. It comes down to profit. Sometimes you can find good deals from retail. I've stumbled into shops before. My wife still likes to shop. I can't seem to convert her to buying all her clothes online. She likes to shop. And I've seen deals in shops that are, like I say, people discontinuing lines, things being sold off really cheap, and sometimes you can make a huge profit because nobody else, it's, like I say, my home base next to me closing is to my area only, so all of these other Amazon sellers that are dotted all over the country don't have that advantage. So sometimes retail can be really good, but equally so online's a lot quicker, and we'll go through some of the pros and cons. Say again?
I may change my thoughts.
I'm on the fence with it. Like I say, it just depends on the strength of the deal.
If there's deals to be,
Yeah, it makes sense. So you can source in your own time with retail. I still do bits of retail arbitrage, and just for me, really, just I like finding a deal. I enjoy that, and because my wife does like to enjoy dragging me around the shops on the weekends, I like to hunt through and find a deal. And if I see something that there's margin in, I'll buy it and I'll sell it. Greater return on investment with retail, because obviously, like I say, you can find the discontinued products that potentially wouldn't be online. Quick product purchases. It's very, very easy to get started. And obviously there's less purchasing decisions because if you're in home base, there's only a limited amount of products, whereas online sometimes it's just where do you start?
Is retail arbitrage, sorry Rich, is that like buying a car online and selling it for a profit? Like
Yes.
seeing this on Micro for 400 and you sell it for a test?
Basically, yeah, that's a form of arbitrage. Yeah, exactly that. But you wouldn't need to do it up. So like, I wish I could take you to, like I say, my local home base is a great example of it because they're shutting it and turning it into a Lidl, I believe. So because of that, they're just selling all their stock off cheaper than any other home base in the country. They're just clearing it off. So me and you could go in there, spend £500 on the stock that they're clearing off and list it on Amazon because all of the other Amazon sellers are either buying from wholesalers or they haven't got that advantage of buying the clearance stock because the home base next to them isn't closing. Does that make sense? So it gives you that advantage. Whereas, like you say, if you were flipping a car, you might have to do some work to it or improve it in some way. With this style of arbitrage, you just find the deals. You just look for the deals and find the discontinued stock and the sale items. And I've come across things sometimes where things have been reduced ridiculously. And that's kind of how you make your money. Rather than trying to improve an item, it's just finding it at the right price. Does that make sense?
Buying and selling, flipping,
It's exactly buying and selling.
making a margin in the middle.
100%. It's exactly that. Yeah.
Buy low, sell higher.
100%. I mean, arbitrage isn't just, it's a term, it's not just for Amazon. Arbitrage in general means exactly that. Buying low, selling high. Buying and selling, flipping. That's arbitrage. So when you buy a car and sell it, that is a form of arbitrage. Disadvantages of retail. Limited quantities, obviously you can only buy. Sometimes it's quite frustrating. You find an item that's really cheap that you can make a lot of margin on, but they've only got 5 of them. So sometimes you'd like to have a lot more. Physical work, you've got to go to the shops and find the items. Sometimes you can't always find stocks to sell. So if this was your sort of only income or this was your main strategy, sometimes it can be difficult that you've got to go into shop after shop after shop to find stock. As I said, you'll have to go and find the product. You've got other costs like parking and petrol, and it can be time consuming, searching around the shops. Obviously online you could do that at night time, kids have gone to bed, whatever, you can look at that time. So online arbitrage. You can source in your own time. Products can be delivered to you. Less physical work. More sourcing opportunities, and you can search 24 hours a day. So there's certainly advantages by being online, and it's a lot easier to do in your free time because you don't have the travel in, you don't have the close. What is that? You don't have the disadvantage of the shops closing. They're open 24 hours a day. And disadvantages of online: greater competition, lower margins, lead times can be a bit longer. That feeling of being isolated, lonely. So which one's better? With all the disadvantages and the advantages, which one's better? Did you want to get a picture of that slide? Do you want me to go back?
No, she did.
Okay.
Please go.
Yeah? So based on the facts, which one would you say would you prefer? Which one do you think is better?
Still online if you're around people.
Yeah. Well, ultimately it's whichever one makes the most profit, I guess, isn't it? It's whichever one's going to make you the most money. But if I was doing arbitrage full time, I would mix it up. I'd look online in my spare time. I'd look around some shops when I had time. So just some examples of arbitrage. Another sort of 10 minutes, we'll take a break and have a coffee. But Nerf guns. This was actually one of our guys, Steve, found these Nerf guns. I think it was actually in Tesco's across the road. He went in to buy a sandwich and found that they had been reduced to £12. And again, they were clearing them off. It was stock that they were clearing. And sometimes, as we get closer to Christmas, you see lots of these clearance sales, these clearance aisles where they're getting rid of old stock that they haven't sold as well as they wanted to. But
Even as retail.
even as retail, yeah. But the great thing is, obviously, Tesco's here might not sell many Nerf guns because there might be not that many kids in the area. There might not be enough demand here. But you can sell on Amazon through the whole of Europe. You've got 5 million customers a day that you can sell to. This local Tesco's haven't got that. So that's where you make your money and how you make your margin.
How do you test?
How do you test?
Do you go onto Amazon and test?
Yes, so you'd use keeper.com. And so you use keeper.com, you search for the product, and that will then give you an exact breakdown of how many units have been sold, how much they sold for. So you can see, and the great thing about arbitrage is obviously you can see that somebody sold 400 Nerf guns in the last month. You know there's a demand for it, and your product's the same product. If you can source it cheaper and sell it cheaper, you're going to get the sale because there's no difference. Why is anybody going to buy from somebody? If you're selling Nerf guns £3 cheaper than the next man, well, I'm going to buy from you. So they were sold on Amazon for £54 a unit. He bought them for £12. Amazon obviously take their cut, which was £11.93, and he made £30 a unit. So he made £300 on just a brief trip to Tesco's in a few days. Again, I'm sure Steve's biggest problem at that time was that he wished they'd had a lot more units because he could only buy 10. And often that is the problem with retail, is you're limited to how many you can buy because the shops don't always stock enough. There's another example coming up as well. Lego, I'm going to talk about this later, but toys can be quite difficult to sell because you have to be, it's called ungating, so you have to go through a process of Amazon where they need to see that you're an established seller to get ungated. Now, it's perfectly doable if you know the right steps to do it, but it's just worth noting, don't rush across there in the break and buy a load of Lego because it can be difficult to get approved to sell on Amazon in the toy section, toy category. Just because kids can swallow it, things like that, due diligence. They want to see you've got public liability and things like that. Yes, so certain items on Amazon are what's called gated. So basically Amazon will require you to be an established seller in order to allow you to sell certain items. So toys and games is a great example. It's probably the biggest one. The other one is beauty. Beauty can be gated. Anything that goes on the skin, or that could be like Lego pieces, could be swallowed by a child, then Amazon will make you go through a process called ungating, where they'll want to see where you bought it from. They'll want to see that you're a proper company. They'll want to see that you've got insurances in place should a child choke on that piece of Lego. So there's perfectly doable. It's just a process that you have to go through if you want to sell in toys and beauty. So it's just worth noting. I don't want you to go, Lego, there's loads of money in Lego, nip across there when we finish, buy a load of Lego, and then find me on Facebook and say, hang on a minute, you said this could sell. Yeah. You'll be able to sell the Lego, but you'll have to go through a process in order to do it. And it is just a process, but they do make you jump through quite a few hoops to do it.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
If you're selling natural products, skin products, you have to go through the same process?
If it's on the skin, usually yes. If it's in...
When it's natural product, no artificial, any chemicals included.
So Amazon don't really print exact... So anything, usually, health and beauty, not every product has to go through ungating. Just certain products. And usually it would be products that they know. So if you tried to list a specific cream, then obviously it would be gated because they would know. So what you might find is they may allow you to do that, to sell your natural products or whatever that may be. Yeah. And then later on they may come to you and say, can you just send us any insurances that you've got or assurances to, should somebody put that on the skin and there was a problem, would they sue you? Are you sure? Are you covered? So you just want to have things in place like public liability. But I would suggest that if you're selling things that go on the skin, that you have that in place anyway, because it's not a huge cost. It's a few £100 a year, and it's definitely worth having that. So you go back to Lego as the example. 35 purchased at £10 a unit, sold on Amazon for £45, minus the fees, £24 an item, £840 profit. It's not bad for buying a few pieces of Lego and sending it into Amazon. It's pretty good. And like I say, it's a great place to start, and it's a great place to start spending some money from day one and learning the process. So arbitrage, in my opinion, is the simplest strategy, and it can bring in some serious money if you know where to buy it, and once you learn the places to buy and learn what works, because you'll find certain supermarkets, it all comes down to manager's discretion, but some of them, the managers are quite hungry and they'll ship stuff off if it's not selling very well. Retail arbitrage is the quickest way to get your hands on products that are ready to sell on Amazon. Quickest in the respect of you can get them in your hand, you can buy them there and then and ship them into Amazon that day. So again, if you're looking to spin money fast, retail arbitrage could be worth looking at. Online, you can buy a variety of products from different sources without leaving the comfort of your own home. That's a great appeal. It's nice to be able to work from home. It's nice to be comfortable and not have to go out, especially this time of year. So just an example of some of the arbitrage guys that we work with. So Sophie was actually on maternity leave and started doing arbitrage in maternity just to make some extra cash, because obviously maternity pay isn't great. But she actually didn't end up going back to work. She was due to go back to work in February and didn't go because she made enough money to cover her income. So if you see here in September, she'd done £200 in a day. She was really pleased. And then she now got up to over £300 in a day. So she was really pleased with that. Margins on arbitrage can be slightly higher, so 40, 50%. So she was pleased with that.
With the arbitrage, sorry for stopping you.
Okay, no problem.
The arbitrage online,
Yep.
do you have to get the goods sent to you?
Yes, you do. Yeah, you have to, because you can't just ship from Asda into Amazon. They won't do it for argument's sake. You'll have to ship to you. That's why arbitrage is a little bit more labour intensive than private label, which we'll go into after the break, because you will have to have the items shipped to you. You will have to label them with the FN SKUs that we've said about.
In your garage in your house?
Yeah, well, anywhere, yeah, anywhere, a spare room, wherever you may have a little bit of
Yeah.
space. You're not going to keep them for long. You're going to get them shipped in, you're going to box them up, they're going to go. So it's not like you've got to store them.
Right.
You could have them in and out in a day or two. So it's literally just have the stuff shipped to you, do what you need to do, box it, out it goes.
And label it. Comes to you, box it, label it, let it go.
Exactly that. That's the exact process. So September she was doing £300 a day. And she pledged Q4, so the last 3 months of the year, October, November, December, which is where we're at now, she set herself a goal to do 25k in turnover in 3 months. And they finished at 33. So 3 months, she turned over 33,000. And as I said, with arbitrage, margins tend to be higher. So even if we were looking at 30% margin, that's just shy of £10,000 in 3 months, just reselling other people's items. And you could do that completely on the side. You could do that whilst working a full-time job. So it's a good side hustle. Jane was another lady, hit a target of £5,000. And that was in 30 days. So again, if her margin's 30%, that's £1,500 in 30 days. She then doubled it, got to 10,000. So between November, I think that was December, again, Christmas period, busy times, she got to £10,000 a month. And if we were at 30%, that's £3,000 a month profit, just reselling other people's items. So Tady's part of our community, she was part of our community, and she set herself a goal. So basically everybody set themselves goals last year within the arbitrage of what they wanted to achieve in Q4, which is now. So Tady said she wanted to turn over £50,000 in Q4. She actually finished up doing 57,000, and her profit margins were really, really high, 40%. She did £19,000 profit in 3 months. Again, just reselling other people's products. 47% was their margin. Just to give you a little breakdown of her sales, again, saying that when you sign up with your UK account, you get access to all of the European accounts. So if you see, the lion's share was the UK, because we're one of the biggest markets within Europe on Amazon, but she had done sales throughout Europe. And again, that goes back to having that opportunity. My local home base selling their items off cheap, it's not going to be the case in France, Germany, Spain, and Italy. So again, I have that advantage over all of the other Amazon sellers. So why would you do arbitrage? Good supplement for your income, fast return on investment, very fast return on investment, low financial commitment. If you kind of wanted to dip your toes, arbitrage is the way to do it. You can finance your other business. So the strategy that I use to get to where I am, and the strategy that I would recommend, if you've got an idea for private label and you've got some money that you want to put into it, go straight to private label, in my opinion. If you haven't and you want to make some money and, for want of a better term, play with the house's money a little bit, I would start with arbitrage, I would spin some products, I would build yourself a pot, and then look to go on to private label from there, because that's where the real gains are found. And it can bring you closer to the lifestyle you desire. So again, going back to my dad, he does do private label because that's how I've set him up. But he could be doing arbitrage if he wanted to. He could be sourcing online because he doesn't want to earn thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds. This would give him that lifestyle where he can do the conservation that he wants to do. Not every deal is a good deal. So it does sound very simple, and it is simple, but there are mistakes that can be made. These Sharpie pens in Tesco's was £21, now £7.50. So these are the sort of deals that you'd be looking for, and if they were still £21 on Amazon, then you'd know there'd be a margin. But when we look on Amazon, you'll see that they're not quite the same. These ones in Tesco's have these pink pens at the end, and these ones have the blacks. And these are what's called a hazardous material, hazmat. Amazon won't let us send hazmat materials into their warehouse centres. So you see what I mean? It's very simple, but you need to have the knowledge to know that actually I can't send them Sharpie pens into Amazon. They won't allow it. Of course. So if you look, can you see that they're slightly different pens? They look the same and they're the same price, but can you see that these black ones that are on Amazon have black at the end, and the ones that are in Tesco's have pink at the end? Yeah. So the pink ones have a hazardous material in them, so they have something that's toxic. Yeah. So Amazon won't allow you to sell them on Amazon, which is why they have the black ones on there. Yeah. They won't allow you to sell these pink pens because they're hazardous. Yeah. So if a child was to suck them, for argument's sake, or get it in the mouth, then potentially it would be hazardous and have a knock-on effect. Okay. So Amazon won't let us send those items in.
So is it that they don't say any hazmat products?
You can't send any hazmat products into Amazon at all. Yeah. All right? This one, a really simple one. I don't think any of us would make this mistake, but it's just gives you an idea of why you need to check on Amazon and do your due diligence. You're in Asda, you see these irons. They were 50 quid originally, they reduced to 30. Great, I can resell these on Amazon. But when you look on Amazon, they only sell at £35. So by the time you've shipped that in, you've paid your Amazon fees, there's not going to be any margin at all in that. So it's about doing your due diligence and checking and looking. And actually a little hack that I would give you for the pens, just going back. When we talked about the Amazon Seller app, on the Seller app there's a little picture on the top right hand side of a camera. And if you press the camera, it will scan a barcode. So when you were in Tesco's, you could have scanned this barcode and you would have found that they're not available on Amazon at all. Because these are different products, they'll have different barcodes. And you would know that these are not available on Amazon. So you know if something isn't already on Amazon, there's a reason why. So that's a great way to do your due diligence and check and make sure before you spend your hard-earned cash. I mean, look, your worst case scenario, you could potentially put them on eBay and sell them off, but that's not what we're looking to do. So yeah, the iron, there wouldn't be a lot of money left in that at the end of it. Lego, we've spoken about Lego, exactly the same thing as what I've said. There's a lot of money in toys and games because it's less competitive, but you would need to put the work in and get ungated. So the faster you learn, the faster you earn, and I'm sure you can see that now. That the more knowledge that you gain and the more experience that you have, the faster you can earn. Another fantastic slide in the right place. So we do offer an arbitrage training course. It's an online course, 13 module course, and it's actually brand new. We've just refreshed it all, so it's completely up to date. And during the course, you get 13 online video modules, step-by-step approach, includes the tools and trackers that we've spoken about, so ways to track the sales, how much things are sold for, and how many they sell. So these are the steps to arbitrage. If anybody is interested in that course, you can speak to us or the team in the break, but that is priced at $1997 plus the VAT. I'll just write that down. So if that is of interest, by all means give us a shout and we can let you know the process. We are going into a break in a minute. I know I've been talking for a long time, so we'll have a break shortly, 5 minutes. But just a quick touch upon private labelling and what is private labelling. Private labelling is selling your own range of products on Amazon, so your own brand. This is a private label product. This doesn't even have a brand on it, but this is a private label brand. So you can use FBA, and this is where you can be really hands-off and you can send direct from manufacturer. This is about being that middleman, being like we said about Facebook and Netflix. Although you'll own the product, you never need to handle or see the product. You can have it manufactured by a factory that already makes the product. You're not trying to reinvent the wheel. You have them stick your logo on it, which is very simple. I'll show you a couple of examples actually. So this is a charger that I bought from Amazon. So you can see this is an off-the-shelf product that somebody else has made, but they've just put a logo on it. If you look, it's very simple. It's just a printed Solex label. Another example here, some bulbs. Again, it's just a logo printed on a box. The bulbs are the same as any other bulbs. It's just a logo printed on a box. So that's all we mean by private label. I'm not asking you to design a new product, to reinvent the wheel, do something new. Find the product that exists, find a market for it, stick a logo on it, and we will go through that. I'll go through that in the next half. We'll go into it in quite a lot of detail, and it's a lot easier than you think. So you get access to FBA, as I said, you can send direct to Amazon, you don't ever need to see the stock. You only pay shipping once, and Amazon will deal and fulfill with all of the logistics side, all of the warehousing and all of the storage. And you get the prime customers. So in my opinion, it is the perfect business model. I love private label, it's what's changed my life, it's the reason why I'm able to do the things that I do, and it's very, very simple. When I had the bar, as we spoke about, things were different. I had £22,000 in rent, 17 grand was rates, then I had staff members, PRS licenses, gas, electric, so many bills. I always felt like I was treading water and never getting anywhere. Whereas I don't have this now, it's simple. I only pay when I sell. So that meant a lot of sleepless nights, and I actually ended up walking away in 60 grand's worth of debt. I will never get a business like that again, me personally, for those reasons. I swerve anything like that because it's such hard work. It was a lifestyle. I was there every single night of the week. My weekends, I could never go anywhere, do anything. You know, I say I like to travel a lot now. I couldn't travel when I had that. Every time I ever went away anywhere, something bad had happened. It's just the way it seemed to go. So knowledge is power and knowledge is profit. And as I said, I wish now in hindsight that I would learn from somebody that had a bar and somebody that had done that already, because I may not have made the mistakes that I did. So a quick comparison. If you want a shop or a high street shop, like we said, they're dying, but they're also very high investment. You can't buy one product and put it in a shop because people will see that and they're not going to come into your shop. Whereas with Amazon you can. You could buy 2 or 3 or 4 products, ship them into Amazon, and because they're against an array of already products, it doesn't matter how few products you've got. So the investment can be low. You don't need any premises. I still to this day work from home. I don't have any offices. I don't have any warehousing costs directly. I don't actually employ any staff. I do have people that work with me, but they're all done on a self-employed basis. So I don't have any staff at all. There's not many businesses at this level where you'd have no staff costs, no rent costs, and I could make my business very, very lean if I needed to. Again, large stock, small stock, what we've said. I don't have any staff to pay. Goes back to the bar, rigid and long hours. I don't have any long hours now. I can be here today, this doesn't affect my business. I actually teach a 3-day masterclass where I'm here for 3 days, and again, it doesn't affect my business. It doesn't make any difference. And I also like to travel. And again, my business keeps running. And we've all spoken about today about support. This is the kind of business where you can get full support. You have other peers doing similar things that know the process. It isn't niche dependent, it's box dependent. You're just selling a box. It doesn't matter what niche you're in, the process is the same. High risk with a shop, a lot lower risk with Amazon. So just quickly, all you really end up doing is reordering stock and some marketing. And again, the marketing is very easy because it's done for you, and we'll go into that a bit later. All of the rest, Amazon do. They do the shipping, they do the packing, they pay the rent on the warehousing, they pay the staff. When Christmas comes and they need more staff, they deal with that. You don't have to deal with any of that grief. And to me, there's a huge value to that because I don't want that headache. I'm not in business to give myself a full-time job. I want the time off, I want the freedom. So how easily can you replace a salary with an e-commerce business? So let's take somebody who's on 25k a year. I think the average earnings for this country is 27,000. We'll keep the maths clear and say £25,000 annual income. So monthly, by the time you've paid your tax, your national insurance, that's £1,680 net in your pocket. To do that with e-commerce, How many products do you think you'd need? Just have a think. One product, £25 a product, 9 units a day. Now I'll show you some numbers later. 9 units a day is nothing. I have 100 million shoppers, 5.7 million unique visitors every day. 9 products is nothing. 6,750 in 30-day sales, which works out £1,687 a month. So it's actually £7 more than a 25 grand salary. Right, let's take a 15-minute break, have a coffee. I'm not going anywhere. If there's any questions that you want to ask, I'll be here. But we'll have a coffee, take, what, 15 minutes, Joe, or 10? Yeah. 15 minutes, and then we will go over private label after. Everybody happy?
Good, cheers, Rich.
Cool, no worries.
Do something about this 'cause it's doing my nutting.
Is this squeaky?
Yeah.
That's it, I think. That's it, Joe.
Is that it?
Oh, it's not squeaking anymore.
Move around, jump out.
I think we're all right.
Getting to lose some weight, Rich.
I know, that's what it is. Do you know how much stick I get? Because it seems to be only me that it does it to. It doesn't do it to anybody else. It just seems to be me every single time.
I was joking.
Yeah, I don't mind, but I do get stick for it. I can take the banter. I give as good as I get.
It's muscle.
I give as good as I get.
I have a quick question.
Okay.
Was this you'd sooner do? Was green you'd sooner do?
Green is what I would really like to do. Oranges, I don't mind. I'll do it.
And
Red, I'd rather not. I will do it if I need to, but I'd rather not.
I thought that would make sense, doesn't it? Green, amber, red.
It does a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
All right.
See the advertising code,
Yeah.
the 13 module.
Yep.
Would you recommend that?
Yes, good course. To be honest, I'm in the process of completely revamping the whole course, so it's super up to date. So yeah, it's a really good
What
detailed
I'm
course.
trying to get my head around is sourcing a material,
Mhm.
buying it,
Yep.
and then shipping it to Amazon.
Mhm. Okay.
That's straightforward,
Yeah.
I think.
Yep.
Once I've gone through the process of how it's done. And that is simple. Because you can source a lot of stuff online.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it sounds like you've already got a good knowledge of what you're doing as
There's
well.
there's a lot of websites where you can buy bulk.
Mhm.
Just trying to work out how to do it.
I've never bought on Amazon, but I think with this, I'd actually like to do 1, 2, 3 steps myself,
Yeah.
physically do it.
Yep. Yeah.
And then rinse and repeat, as you said.
Yep.
And then I'd be on the ball rolling.
Yeah, once
And
you
they're
start,
quick
yeah.
ones to do, you know?
Yeah. Exactly that. Like I say, we'll go into private labour. Joe, is my mic on? It sounds like it is. I only ask because I'm going to use the toilet in a minute. I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
He's going to start singing. Shh. He's going to start singing.
Got no music.
Come back now.
We've got no music now, Joe. We've got no music now. Now you've turned it off completely. What I would suggest is we're going to go through private label this afternoon in 15 minutes, and we'll go through all the steps of that, and then obviously you can look at them which way kind of suits you and where you want to go. As I say, arbitrage is a great place to start.
What I'm trying to get sort of straightened out in my head is I'm very much for procedures
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to be able to list it clearly, start here
Steps.
and move it in steps.
Steps.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
So that I can say, right, I know how I'm going to get there,
mm-hmm.
and all what do they do?
It's
Then
just
they
take
identify
the
product.
steps. Yeah, definitely.
Everyone's the same. You
Yeah.
started somewhere.
Yeah, oh yeah, completely. We've all got to start somewhere, and,
Yeah.
and the advantage that kind of you guys have got is I didn't have a me where I am now, if that makes sense.
Right,
So
yeah.
I did
You learned
this.
the hard way.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
this.
We're learning
Whereas
from your, not, I don't mean it in a bad way, mistakes.
Yeah,
but
no,
we're
definitely.
learning from someone who knows what
yeah,
they're doing.
exactly,
Yeah.
and that's.
And you're still doing it.
I'm
You're
still doing it, yeah.
doing
And do you know what? I'll be doing this I don't intend on ever stopping, ever. Like I want to be one of the most successful people I can be on it. Like,
Right.
why would I stop?
Yeah.
Ever. Like I used to have a desire to retire. I have no interest in retiring. I'd like to get to a point where I just travelled the world sourcing products and sending them into Amazon. I'd love to do it, like, you know, going to Thailand and finding small manufacturers of stuff. I would love to just spend my life, eventually, my retirement plan is that, to just travel the world and find, you know, when my family's older and outgrown, just find products and just ship them in
I
containers.
think
And
that's great.
that's my retirement plan, you
Yeah,
know?
I think that's great.
So, you know, why would I ever stop? It is a great business model, and as I say, it's given me, that's the reason why I want to teach it, because it just
Passionate
works.
about it, you
Yeah, it
enjoy
just
it.
works, you
Yeah.
know, like, and it's given me something that I never thought I could have, you know, like, I never ever thought I would have the things that I've got, and it's just from a time perspective, a travel perspective. You know, like I travel a hell of a lot, and I get to do that with my family. I'm there for my son every single day. He's my stepson, but I'm there every single day of his life. When he comes home from school, I'm there, and I always have been. And actually, I'll tell my story a bit later, but my granddad, before he died, I spent the last 2 years of his life with him every single day. Every day I was there as a carer because I didn't need to be at work all day. As long as I had my laptop, I could work.
So you're living basically life in your terms.
Completely.
With freedom and
It's
choice.
funny, you know, if you were to
exactly
look
what I
at,
want.
I use that word, life on your terms, all the time because I'm a massive believer on it. Like life should be on your terms.
Yeah, yeah.
It shouldn't be
There's
like,
only one life, man.
yeah, completely.
Yeah, yeah.
It should be completely on your terms. Like when you want to do it, when
Do
you
know
want to
Ricky
get it.
Gervais says?
Go on.
You know Ricky Gervais?
Yeah, yeah.
You know The Office?
Yeah. The
He says,
comedian guy.
People say you've changed when you stop living life on their terms.
Yeah, it's so
You've
true.
changed.
So true that is. Honestly, like
Yeah.
I've struggled, to be honest, because sometimes some of my older friends, they don't like it because they don't understand
no
it.
way,
Yeah,
too.
they don't understand it as
no
well.
way.
Like, because if you're saying to somebody who's working 60, 70 hours a week and you're going, I could work an hour a day, it doesn't fit well with people's values. People don't like it. Well, you can't do that. You can't only work an hour a day. No, you've got to work hard. You've got to put the hours in. And I do work hard, but just not hours and hours and hours. You know, I just put the work in to find a product, launch it, let it go.
Maybe, Rich, they're conformers. They're conformers.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
they don't like the
fact that
black,
you're not.
black sheep, or you know.
Yeah, and it is
Well,
like
you
that.
found a better way.
It is definitely like that. Like it's so alien to people that there is a better way, because as I said earlier, the internet's empowered us all. Like we can, if you want to be if you want to be a radio presenter now, start a podcast. You want to be a TV presenter, start a YouTube channel. There's people that are Instagram influencers, like they're traveling the world, going to hotels and getting paid because they've got a big following to market. It's like, imagine trying to explain that to the war generation, who are just happy to eat food. And
They're too.
Do you know what I mean?
Point is
Yeah.
too close. Their mind is too close.
But it was then. There wasn't no opportunity. Even my dad's parents, they were very much, you get a job. They worked in factories their whole lives and retired. You get a job, you make ends meet, you support your family, you retire. That's
But
it.
that's where.
That's what you do.
Why, by the way, that's the way we've been conditioned.
Yeah.
Me and you.
Yeah. But they used to have to be like that. Yeah.
We've been conditioned to go and work and make money.
Yeah.
I need to make more money because I've got a family to support.
Yeah.
I've got 2 families to support.
Yeah.
No, as you get older, things happen. And I did a silly thing, well, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I bought my daughter a house
Right. Okay.
with my savings.
Yeah.
And she was supposed to pay me rent. Well, she lost her job, so she couldn't pay the rent.
Right. Okay.
So I'm stuck with a small mortgage on that property. I've only got
Yeah.
a mortgage on my own property, but
Yeah.
a mortgage on this property. And I'm saying, I need to pay that off. I need to get this done. I need to get it completely cleared
Mhm.
so that all the profit that comes in goes into the bank. I spend it. I enjoy myself,
Yep.
and I'll leave them some money when I pop my clothes.
Yeah. Completely.
But I can see this is take a wee bit of.
Yeah. There's like I say, it's,
In fact, I'll maybe my grandson involved in it.
that's the good thing as well. Like I'll go through it later, but you can get other people involved, and you can if you're learning, they can learn with you, and you can gain the knowledge
That's what
together.
Wayne,
To being earlier, I'm going to get my wife involved in this.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of administration to be done.
Yep.
And I can be doing the other things that help me out, that gives her something.
See, I just like, for me now, I used to try and do everything. I used to always try and do my own accounts and this and that. And as I've kind of developed within my business, I've realised that's not my skill set, accounts. So I let my accountant do it. And they give me a full report and they deal with everything, the bookkeeping. And again, because the great thing is, because everything goes through Amazon, your accounting is as literally as download report
You've got a
from
statement,
these
you've
dates.
got-
Yeah.
You know exactly.
There's no
You
cash in.
delegate.
I delegate
Before
massively,
you
yeah.
try to be the ego of the.
Yeah, I tried to do
the
everything, yeah.
entrepreneur And end up
Yep.
overloaded. But,
Completely.
you know, I've been there, sort of.
Yeah.
I understand what you say. You're saying I want control of everything.
Yeah, and it's
You
hard
need
to let
no
go.
time for anything
Yeah,
else.
exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes it can be hard to let go, but now I've kind of let go a bit. And then sometimes you're like, oh, now what? Because the boxes are ticked. You know, everybody knows what they're doing. It's kind of done. I've got guys that do because I do, like I say, I'm trying to grow the brand further now. But I've got people that do marketing for me. I've got people that do all the accounts for me. So
Delegate.
I just focus on the bits I love, and the bit I love finding products, building a brand, launching it, that's for me, and everybody's different, but for me, that's the bit I love. I'm passionate about that. I could do that all day long, every single day.
That's the complicated bit.
Yeah.
It's getting the product
But
you can buy in bulk.
But once you start, it's funny, once you condition your mind to it and you start doing it, you'll see opportunities everywhere. Honestly, like the other day, as an example, and I may or may not do this product, but I was sat in traffic with my wife and she was driving and I was bored. So I started looking on Alibaba and I thought, I wonder if there's any just like, I like to sometimes just spin a little bit of extra cash on stuff. If there's any little fast selling Christmas products I could buy that would sell really well at Christmas. In 10 minutes I found something that I could buy for $3 that sell at $19.99 on Amazon. So that gives you an example, and it literally took me 10 minutes. I'm considering doing it. I haven't, it was literally last week. I put it on Facebook, it was literally last week. So what I've done is, my point of difference is going to be, I think, if I do it, and this is kind of why I haven't jumped at it right now, is if I wanted it logoed, like private label, and put my logo on it, it was going to take too long because they'd have to manufacture the logos. But if I just had some stickers, they could move on it much quicker, meaning I could get it in time for Black Friday and the Christmas rush. So what I'm thinking about doing is, rather than having it as a brand because it's just something I just want to spin for some cash, I'm thinking about having sticker sheets with letters in it so it's customizable. So you could buy it as a Christmas gift and have somebody, you could put somebody's name on it, or you could put a message on there and go down that route, because then I don't have to get a logo made and manufactured and printed. I can just have a sheet of stickers in each box and then I can sell them as customizable, which everybody loves these days. So I'm waiting for them to come back to me on the price for the stickers.
Is that not more work, customised?
It's not. I haven't got to customise it. They'll just get inside the box. Will be a sheet of individual letter stickers
Right.
that you stick on yourself.
Oh, right.
So it's no work for me, but I can advertise them as customisable because you could buy it for, say, I don't know, your wife or your son or whatever, and you could open the box and put his name on it if you wanted to, or you could put Happy Christmas or whatever it is you want to put on there with these letters. And that's kind of my way around it because I haven't got time.
Little small, little square
Yeah, little square
letters,
letters,
you
yeah.
just put them-
Yeah. So I may do it. It depends on what price they want for the stickers, and it depends on how quickly I can get them. If I can get them quick enough, then I'll probably do them just because...
Would that not be a lot of work for the other person?
It would be, yeah, but you'd make it clear from the off that that's what you do, you know?
Make it interesting for them.
Yeah, you'd make it, you wouldn't try and say they come customised, but you'd just say they are customisable. So that for you as a buyer, yeah, it's a bit of work, but if you wanted to, it's a cheesy, quirky Christmas gift. It's not particularly a valuable item you're going to use all year round. It's the kind of thing you're going to buy it for $19.99, play with it on Christmas Day, mess about, have a crack, and probably never use it again. It's one of those, like the helicopters that everybody used to get and all that kind of stuff. It's one of those Christmas products that you kind of almost throw away.
Right.
But yeah, that was. I may look to do it. I can say if I spot something, I tend to jump on it and give it a go.
Yeah.
So, and like I say, because there's so many customers, what's your worst case? Let's say you buy something. Let's say you really make a mistake, and I've not done this. I've never done this. I've had stuff that sells slow, but let's say you really made a mistake and you bought something and it didn't sell. The only way you'd do that is because you hadn't done your due diligence, because you can check to see if they sell first. But let's just say it happened. What's your worst case? You sell them at cost.
Did you want that?
When I bought the bar, when it closed and it didn't work, I lost every penny.
You
Yeah,
still have the bill.
yeah, and every penny I'd put in, and every penny I walked away with. Whereas I buy a load of these and they don't work, or I was in they don't sell. Just all right, I'd take a 200-300 quid hit on it and sell them off cheap, get rid of them, get my money back, and do something else. That's why I love.
Would they still sell at cost?
If it's cheap enough, everything will sell. That's one thing I have found. If you reduce stuff to like I've had stuff. I had a product that I had some returns about 2 years ago, and I had quite a few because there was a bit of an issue. And it was a really complicated product, to be honest. It was a bit of a stupid product because there was a lot of moving parts to it. But I got the returns and I thought, I'll just stick them on as grade B and see if they sell. Flew. Grade B, just like they've been opened, they're not brand new basically.
And people know that when they're buying an Amazon
Yeah,
as well.
they absolutely flew out the door.
It's like a sale.
Yeah, like I say,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
They sold faster than anything, and there was still a margin in them. So you'll always sell stuff, but obviously the goal is to sell stuff and make a profit. But there's always going to be people buying light bulbs for argument's sake. But so if you're doing them cheap enough, they're going to sell. No ifs, buts, or maybes.
Is there a window? A window of price? If you go really below a competitor's price, are you saying, hey, what's this guy doing?
Funny you should say that, because I'm doing a lot of experimenting with that myself at the moment. There's a window price where we say target,
Right.
because they're like impulse buys, and we'll go into that later.
Right, but if you start cutting people out of it, like with war, like price war,
Yeah, the problem is sometimes you can just race down to the bottom, because then somebody else will slice the price, and then you'll slice the price, and then you end up with no margin. I would suggest that you go the other side. So, and this is something that I've learned. Like, I've got products that I'm the most established seller, but there's other people coming in at a higher price. So I actually increased all my prices a couple of months ago, and it hasn't changed my sales at all. And if anything, my sales have increased. Because all of a sudden I've got the most reviews in that niche, and the most established seller. If I'm the highest price, I must be the premium one.
is that down to quality of the good?
Yeah, the quality, I offer a lifetime warranty with it. So,
Tinkle, let's start.
all right. I've been ordered. I've been told.
Go on.
And the mic's definitely off, isn't it?
Yes, darling.
All right.
Don't.
Make sure you have a spare tire and a wheel and a wheel brace.
Just shut this.
Preparation.
Yeah, that's thing, and so here I am, and I just want to
Yeah.
check how will the travel pack, sorry, I didn't get your name,
Rich.
Rich, travel package
Yeah.
to Amazon, or it doesn't work.
What do you mean?
So, some people who wants to go on holiday and all that,
Yep.
if you got arrange a package,
Yeah.
can that be, I can't see, it's so in through Amazon?
So is it a physical product, or is it? Do you want to turn it down a bit, Joe? It's a bit echoey. Is it?
No, it's not exactly a physical.
So it's like a holiday package.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, you won't be able to sell that on Amazon. It needs to be a
It's gotta
physical product.
through Amazon.
Yes. Yeah. It needs to be a physical product. You
Okay.
can't sell. Yeah. Anything like that you couldn't sell on Amazon. All right.
So it has to be.
A physical product. Yeah. Everybody ready?
Yeah.
So private label. This is what I focus on now. This is my main focus, and this is what brings me my personal income. So again, just touching on the course, it's up there. If you guys do want to speak at the end, we can talk about that.
Can you send us all that through email, like afterwards, even though we're doing them?
What's that? The slides?
Yeah.
I don't think we can. No,
Sorry.
no, we can't. Unfortunately, I'm afraid. But you, like I say, well, just snap off pictures if you want to snap off pictures, by all means. So private label, selecting your product, find your manufacturer, optimize your listing, and drive traffic to your listing. So these are the steps to private label. And just speaking about price, like we were earlier, the power of branding. These two products are exactly the same. They're both a screen protector for an iPhone. But if you look at the branding that's gone into this one and this one, which one do you think would command the higher price? And it's the same product. So rather than focusing just, especially with private label, if you're trying to build a brand, rather than just focus on trying to be the cheapest, I would focus on trying to be the best. Because often you find people just slap any old rubbish on there, even if you look at that, and even the Solex thing, they're just a sticker or a font. Whereas by spending a little bit more time, and again, you're paying somebody else to do this. I'm not asking you to design this, but by putting a little bit more time, you can charge a premium for the same product. That's the same product.
Perception, quality.
100%. 100%. Why do people pay more in Waitrose than you can get it for in Asda? Quality perception, but it's the same product, 9 times out of 10. So selecting your product. So start with our strategy, and I'm going to go through our strategy of product research. We recommend $20 to $60 price point. And again, if I was looking for pounds, I'd be looking at 15 to 50. And the reason for this is that this is the kind of area that you don't necessarily need to think about. If you're buying something for £20, £30, I don't need to consult my wife. I don't need to go away. I'm unlikely to go and search, like we said. You just buy on Amazon on impulse. If it's over £50, there's a chance I may go to another website. I may look to see if I can get a discount code, and I'll do a bit more work. So it's recommended to start sort of 15 to £50 or $20 to $60, so that it's impulse buys. It's that one-click purchase. I'll have that. I'll have it now.
And it's in a price range that people
Are comfortable.
attracted to.
Yeah, exactly.
Or yourself.
Yes.
No, picture you as the buyer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
completely.
exactly, yeah.
Like you said, you want it now. Whereas if it was £200, you might do a bit more thinking, a bit more due diligence. But at those kind of prices, you tend to just buy quite quickly. And that's the best way to kind of make your money on Amazon, is focused on quick buys, quick purchases. So you want to be in, yeah, and quick turnaround, yeah, quick service. So you kind of want to be in that price point, ideally. Small and lightweight is what we recommend, and that's why I've said to you earlier about it's a lot easier to ship by air, it's a lot faster. And then obviously the same with Amazon storage and shipping cost, it's much cheaper on small and lightweight items. So by small and lightweight, I mean fits in a shoebox and ideally would weigh under 2 kilos. And that's because anything under 2 kilos can be shipped by Royal Mail quite cheaply. Obviously Amazon do that, but that's Royal Mail's, it goes up a lot more after 2 kilos. We recommend sourcing for 25% of the retail price. So I'm going to give you our model that we use when we're sourcing products. And I still use this now when I source products. So this is the model that I use when I'm sourcing a product still. I look to try and land the product in the UK or wherever it is for 25%. So COG stands for cost of goods. 25% of its overall value. Amazon get roughly 25% by the time you pay the fees, the storage costs, the pick and pack. You look to spend 25% on marketing and look for 25% profit. So marketing we'll look at later. Amazon have a marketing built into the system. So again, it's very easy to do. And as the profit grows, you can actually reduce this marketing cost because the product's well known and you've got the reviews, and obviously your profit goes up. So this is the model that we recommend you use. So if you can land something for £10, you want to be looking to sell it for 40. You want to look for manufacturers that already make the product. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Don't try and go to a manufacturer that have never made light bulbs and try and buy light bulbs. Find a manufacturer that already manufactures the product that you want to make. Then they put your logo on the product. So that's where you ask them. You have a logo designed. We'll go into that a bit further on. But you ask them to label the product for you. It's called an OEM service, where they label the product for you. They then put it in a box, add your label. You now have your own product line. See, when you say to people about branding and having your own product, often it sounds quite daunting. But realistically, it's just a logo on a box. It's not, you're not trying to do anything completely new. You're not trying to reinvent anything. You're just having that brand associated with your product. Can you see how easy and amazing this could be to have your own line of products? And it really is that simple. I've got quite a few brands now. I've got quite a few products. I've got 2 that I focus on, and they're all just stickers on pre-existing products.
So OEM is just a sticker, the label.
Basically, yeah. There's different types.
Order each month.
I'm not sure what
When I
OEM
read that,
stands
I can
for.
see OEM.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything that says OEM service, it means they'll put your logo on it,
Right.
whatever it may be. So this pointer came in this box, and the brand is called Dusel. So they've had that. This box is probably pre-designed. They've had that logo put on there, and they've had a logo printed there. That's it. This is the same as all. I bet there's probably 3 or 4 that are exactly the same around, but they've just had their white label product put on there to differentiate them. And they'll get the reviews on this one, and you'll always perceive that once they've got the reviews and they've built this, you'll perceive that Dusel are the best ones, even though the chances are there's 3 or 4 that are made in the same factory in very similar products. So again, it comes down to the perception and the perception of value.
See how you were talking about home-based closing down, you're going to go and bulk buy some of the
From an
stuff.
arbitrage perspective, yes.
Once you've done that,
Yep.
would you then put a logo on it?
No. That's so arbitrage is completely separate. Arbitrage is you're selling other people's products, so that's a completely different strategy, which is that side. Private label is when you go to a manufacturer and have your label put on the product at manufacturer level, basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, it makes sense. It's just that you would have to design the product.
No, because
That's
if you
all
go on
right.
Alibaba, there'll be loads. If you go on Alibaba, there's probably 10 factories selling these. So you would go to the factory that you've found that sells these, and you would say, do you offer an OEM service, or can you put my logo on your product? So it's their product.
OEM service?
Yes.
It's when they put logo on the product.
Yeah, that's when they'll
That's
put.
what OEM means.
They're 90%, 99% of factories in China specifically will do it. A lot of them will do it here. It's just the private labeling service. It just means that you can, like I say, this. I guarantee if you to look on Alibaba now and Google power bank, whatever this is, it's for travel. Power bank travel charger. I bet there's 3 or 4 of these exactly the same. But all of this person's done is ask them to put Solex on it. It'll be the same as all the other brands, but they've just put Solex on it. So Solex is now a brand in its own right. And then they can then do other travel chargers, maybe other small electrical things. And Solex, over time, will become a brand and a known brand. Does that make sense? They're
Yeah,
very
no,
different
that's fine.
strategies, yeah.
I understand. Just clarify the process.
So picking a product. What's the biggest brand hammock strap company in the world? The really well-known one that you'd all know.
Biggest brand,
For hammock straps.
hammock strap.
Yeah.
Hammock strap.
Yeah.
Back pack, is it?
They're the straps to tie the hammocks
Oh,
up.
yeah, swing. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, what's the big brand?
I haven't got a clue.
You know, the big brand's a big brand for hammock straps. Everybody knows them.
Hammock straps.
Point I'm making is there is no big brand for hammock straps. So if you make George's hammock straps, or you make Wayne's hammock straps, or Solex hammock straps, you're not competing against Nike and Heinz and all of these big
Right.
brands, because there is no big brand for hammock straps. Oh, the stage. I didn't even notice it either. There is no big, well-known brand for hammock straps. So these are the niches that you're looking for. You're looking for niches. You're not going to go, I'm not going to say go and do a set of trainers and try and go up against Nike, because it's not going to happen. Look for these niches where there are no well-known brand.
Make up your own name, brand.
Yes, within an area where there isn't a known. So looking at this as an example, seat back extenders. Something like 70% of males in the US are obese, believe it or not. And airplanes each airplane only has 5 seat back extenders. So maybe there's a market in this, I've never looked at it. But seat back extenders, there's no brand for a seat back extender. If you want a seat back extender, you're just going to buy one, aren't you? Same with light bulbs, same with chargers. If you want it, you're just going to buy whichever. You're not going to search for a specific make of seat back extender. So these are the perfect products to private label, because you're not up against established brands with millions of pounds of budget. You're just up against, realistically, other private labelers. So good areas to choose a product. If you go into Amazon, you have the option of best sellers. Best sellers is a good place to look, because you can pick a category. So you could go in the sports and outdoors category, for argument's sake, go into the best sellers and see what's selling well on Amazon and get an idea and a feel for what people are buying. Hot new releases, new products. I like this. I like chasing trends personally. I seem to be quite good at spotting trends and looking for new releases. So it's something that's an area I focus on. Movers and shakers. These are products that potentially may have been on Amazon for a while, but for whatever reason, seasonality, whatever it may be, they've started selling fast again, or they've started moving and shaking. Most Wishford. Now this is a good little tip. Most Wishford can often mean that people have seen the product and they want the product, but it's out of stock. And that can be really good products to do, because often if a product's selling really well and the company can't keep up with the amount of stock they're selling, obviously you can fill that gap and you can fill that void and have stock when they don't. So Most Wishford, again, is a really good place to look. And gift ideas, again, there's lots of strategies of gifting. I try not to go for, as my core products, I try not to be too seasonal. I don't mind doing a few more now, but it's all quite advanced stuff. I wouldn't recommend trying to be seasonal, but obviously gift ideas can be anything really. So those that don't succeed, and I've seen this so many times, They don't select a product, they don't make any decisions, they don't take action, and they don't get the product live on Amazon. They have analysis paralysis. You teach them how to find the product, you teach them how to do the due diligence, but actually when it comes to taking the step and doing the product, lots of people don't do it. They just don't take the step that they need to take to make it work.
How do you get over that hurdle?
It's a personal thing.
You actually physically show someone, put your hand here, do this, do that. Like learning how to walk.
Yes, I have done. I have held people's hands through it, and a lot of the time people just need. There's two types of people. There's people that just are not going to do it, they're just going to talk about it, and there isn't a lot you can do for people like that. If they're really at the core not going to do it, they just like the idea of talking about it, there isn't a lot you can do. There's the other end of the spectrum that are people that want to do it.
Can you show me?
Yeah, they want to do it, but they want to be shown. They want to do it, but they want to be, it goes back to that support thing. Well, am I doing the right thing? Have I said the right thing to the supplier here?
Yeah.
Have I done the right checks? Is it okay? Has the due diligence
Until
done?
it becomes automatic for yourself.
Yes, exactly. So it's quite an easy thing to solve when it's somebody just wants to know, have I taken the right steps, have I done my due diligence, and go through it and hold their hand. That's very easy to get over because, like you say, you're just ticking the boxes. Yep, that's done, that's done, that's done. It's when somebody just wants to talk about it and not do it. It's not really a lot of solve for that by saying, "Give me, I'm going to do it," but it doesn't work. But those that succeed on Amazon, and as we've said, the buyers are there. People are looking for products every single day. Hundreds of millions of people are looking for products all of the time on Amazon. And as I've said, it's only going to go one way. It's only going to continue to grow. So it's people that do select a product. They do make a decision. They do take action, and they do get live on Amazon as quickly as possible. That's how you be successful in this business. There is no successful fairy. There's no success fairy that comes across at night and puts some dust on some successful people and not others. It's a system, it's a formula, you just follow it. Once you've got the system, you've got it down, you rinse, you repeat, you put the work in. If you're prepared to put the work in and you're prepared to follow the formula, then it works. It's as simple as that. I'm not asking you to take a maybe. The products are there, the products sell. The buyers are there. So this is Louise. Louise is part of our community that we spoke about earlier. Louise worked overseas for years. She liked her job, but she was always away from home for long periods of time. She had a lot of guilt around that. I only knew that you could shop and spend money on Amazon, as do a lot of people. There's not many people that really know that you can make money selling on Amazon. There's still a misconception from a lot of people that Amazon sell on Amazon. You can only buy direct from Amazon, but third-party sellers actually make up the biggest part of Amazon's profit. And her business partner actually introduced her to the Amazon opportunity. So thanks to Amazon, she no longer works overseas. She's created a business for herself. She's got multiple products in the baby categories, which is ironic because she doesn't have a baby. And she's very, very good at spotting new product ideas. She's good at spotting the next product, the new product ideas. And it's changed her life dramatically. So she's very much a success story within Amazon. So we actually asked Louise. Louise used to run a course here about picking a product. So she used to run a specific course on how to pick a product. And when that course was live, I think it was £1,495, and it was here live in Peterborough. We recorded the course. She actually travels a lot now, so we've recorded the course, and we do have it as available as a DVD for £497, and I'll talk to you about that later, about how you can get a hold of that. Did you want to take a picture of that? You got it. Step 2, finding your manufacturer. This is the bit where lots of people get stuck. This is the people where people get daunted about, but it's very, very simple. It's really not that difficult, and the infrastructure is there to help you do your due diligence. So contact a private label manufacturer locally, nationally, or internationally. So there are private label manufacturers within the UK and within the States if you want to sell within the States. We've got a guy in our community that sells supplements. He has them made in America and he sells them in America. So don't always think it has to be China. It's what I do. I do China and Taiwan. But there's lots of people that source from India and make a lot of money, and there's lots of people that source within the UK. Vietnam's another good up-and-coming area. So you can start with Google, especially if you're looking at local people in this country, and you can search private label. So if you were trying to do bulbs or baseball caps, you could search private label baseball caps or white label baseball caps. Or you can search on Alibaba.com, which is what I do and is my favourite strategy. That's how I find nearly all of my products. The other option is procurement agents. You can use procurement agents, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just somebody in China that will go out and find the factories for you. But just be aware they're going to make a margin, and potentially they can incentivize a factory could incentivize them. So I'm not saying it would happen, but let's say, are you going to get the best factory, or are you going to get the factory who's giving the procurement agent the biggest kickback?
Yeah.
So that's the dangers of a procurement agent. They can work very well, and I've sourced things like packaging and stuff through them, things that are quite complex. But if I was sourcing abroad, I would use Alibaba, and I would send a third-party inspector in after the goods are already made.
What's a procurement agent?
So it's basically just an agent. So use China as an example. There's people within China, their jobs, you would say to them, I want to do a clicker for presentations. They would then take a sample, or they'd give you some options. They'd go and find the factories for you. They'd come back to you with pricing, and then they'd take a cut for finding it for you.
Sourcing agent.
Exactly, it's exactly what it is. It's just another word for sourcing agent, yeah. And then you get samples sent. So always get samples sent. Always, always, always get samples sent. It's really important that you check the product, you check the items. And I would say it's also just as important that even after the full product is made, you have it inspected. So again, going back to the hammock tree straps, you could search hammock tree straps, private label. You could search garlic press supplier, or garlic silicon baking mat wholesale. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't search supplier or wholesale, because the chances are they're going to be a middleman. I would probably search manufacturer or private label, for the sheer fact of you want to be at source, you want to be at manufacturer. The less people that are making a margin in between, obviously the more money you can make and the more competitive you can be. So Alibaba, the beast that is Alibaba. Alibaba is actually a very simple website. It's much the same as Amazon. You just search for a product, it'll come up with hundreds of different suppliers. And actually, just as a tip that makes life easier on Alibaba, is when you do your search, to the left you'll see, I mean, it might be an idea to write this down. To the left you will see, it will say product search. If you drop that down to supplier search, it will then just search supply, because the same supplier might have 500 products that are all similar. But if you just niche that down to suppliers, it makes the search a lot easier. So it's just a little ninja tip and hack. So Alibaba is literally just like Amazon. You would go on, you would search for the product. In this example, we've used a vegetable slicer. And then obviously it will come up with a list of vegetable suppliers. So you see here where it says products, that's where you could do the drop down and select suppliers. This is the important part of Alibaba. You want gold assurance. Gold assurance means that they've paid quite a lot of money to Alibaba to be a gold supplier. It means they're well established and that they could be trusted. An assessed supplier means that Alibaba themselves or a third-party team have been into the factory, they've checked they've got the insurances, they've checked there's no things like child labour, or the due diligence is done for you, the factory's been checked out. And then trade assurance, we spoke about trade assurance earlier. Trade assurance means that Alibaba will back you. So every supplier has a different level of trade assurance. Usually it's somewhere between 10 and 30,000. That means that as long as you buy within that limit, Alibaba will pay you the money back should there be any problems. So another great thing to have. And to be honest, all of these for me are must-haves. I won't touch a supplier unless they're a gold supplier, unless they've been assessed, and unless they've got trade assurance.
How do you pay them, Rich?
Now, well,
Credit card, debit card, can you send sample?
not really. I will touch upon this later. I always historically used to use MoneyCorp and do transfers from the bank, but I've recently found that there's a service there's a couple of different ones now that have cropped up. But the one I use is called TransferWise. And TransferWise is basically, it's similar to you can have a bank account. No, there's nothing else, Joe. Yeah. Yeah. You can have a bit like PayPal. So you kind of have an online bank account, but they offer you full market rate, so you're not losing on the exchange. Whatever the exchange rate is, like on Google, for instance, if you use a bank, they'll always take a margin. So they'll always, if the dollar's 127 to the pound, the bank might take 2 points on every pound. Whereas these TransferWise, there's another one called Payoneer, they'll come up later. They don't take that percentage. They take a fee of about $4. So it's a much cheaper way to do it. So you send by transfer. Smaller orders, I'd recommend PayPal. I don't recommend, what's the one that they all use, that I don't use? My mind's gone, it will come to me. But I would either use PayPal or bank transfer. They're the only two I would use. Ideally, you'd use PayPal. If you use Trade Assurance, which I'd always recommend, certainly on the first time, then you pay Alibaba. So at that point, you can use debit or credit card, and you can still bank transfer into Alibaba's account. So Alibaba become the middleman. If you really wanted to have a bit of a hack, you could use a flights bonus credit card. I know people that do this. So like British Airways
Yeah.
cards. If you spend £10,000 a year, you get travel for you and a partner.
Kickback
So
back.
it becomes a flight ticket. So you can go with you and take a partner with you. A bit more further down the line, but there's advantages you can do with that, because you can order your stock and use that, pay it straight off, pay no interest, and you get flights and travel with it. So there's lots of things you can do, and there's advantages of using credit cards to do that through Trade Assurance. But for me, I use bank transfer.
Or TransferWise.
Yes, TransferWise is the same thing basically. Like I say, ideally on a small order you'd try and persuade them to use PayPal, but not all suppliers will accept PayPal. So Trade Assurance, gold supplier and assessed supplier. Those are the important ones. Did you want a picture of that? They are the boxes you need to tick. If the supplier doesn't have that, I wouldn't touch them, and I've been doing this a long time, so certainly I would ensure that they've all got this. So here's an example of a procurement agent. You can use, anybody ever heard of Upwork?
Yes.
Upwork, yeah? So Upwork, people per hour, Fiverr, we'll go into these a bit further on, but these are basically websites where you can find third-party members of staff. So you could find somebody to help you with customer service. You could find someone to help you design your logo. In this case, we found somebody who's a procurement agent. So this is Jason, and Jason's a procurement agent in China. I've never used Jason, I don't know Jason, but it just gives you an example. You can see that he's got 4.7 out of 5 reviews. He's worked 275 hours, so it gives you a good breakdown of what he does and what he can offer, and he's $17.78 per hour, so about £15 an hour. So that would be how, if I was using a procurement agent, I would find them. I would find them on Upwork or people per hour and go from there. I still use this rule when I'm looking at a product now, the 1-10-10 rule. And it's very simple, it's just a simple way of looking, when you're doing your due diligence trying to find a product, if that product can make £10 margin and do 10 units a day, that's £700 a week. One product. You rinse and repeat that, you have 9, 10 products, it becomes more and more and more. So £100 a day, and the great thing about Amazon is it doesn't stop. It doesn't have a break on a Saturday or Sunday. It doesn't break on Christmas Day. The sales keep coming in. And actually, in my experience, Christmas Day can be a really good day. People get money, they're bored, they're at home, they want to spend. So just one product, £10, 10 units a day, £3,000. And I still, when I'm looking at a product, that's what I aim for now. So worth taking note. This is Phil. Actually know Phil quite well. Phil started Amazon about 4 years ago, I think now. He's done really, really well. This is actually quite an old post. He's doing really, really well actually within the supplement category. So from my hotel, I'm running my Amazon business. This has been achieved with just 3 products, and Phil started with no capital. Phil came through like you did today. He then did a course, he did a masterclass course, and he then did the academy with us. And Phil is now financially free. Actually, 3 months after he did the course, he's never been back to work again. So this was Phil's sales over 6 months, just over $100,000 in 6 months. And actually a little bit about Phil, he was from the financial services sector, he was a mortgage advisor. And the reason he wanted out was because he found that the way that mortgages were being sold to people was quite unethical, bad advice was being given, it just didn't sit well with him. And he was desperate for something, which is how he found us and how he found Amazon, and he did the course and he's made it happen. Steve again is part of our community. Steve was actually a successful guy. He didn't start Amazon because he needed Amazon. He was earning 6 figures, he was traveling all over the world, spent a lot of time in the States, and Steve's actually from Canada. He's French Canadian, so he's from Canada originally. He had no time for his young son and had that feeling of guilt that he wasn't around. Already had a property portfolio, so this is a successful guy. You know, he's already been there and done that, but as you know, property be quite slow. So he saw Amazon as a cash flow. A strategy for passive income. Something that I think many, many people strive for is passive income, or certainly as passive as possible. Thanks to Amazon, he now's got a 6-figure business. He's built that in less than 24 months with just 7 products. This allows him to travel with his partner and his son and live life on their terms. We spoke about this earlier, living life on your terms, doing what you want to do when you want to do it, choice and freedom. So Steve, because of his background, was corporate background, was a very successful guy. He actually wrote a Profit Essentials toolkit, and this is basically a booklet, 2 booklets of copying and pasting scripts. So negotiation scripts that you can use with manufacturers, scripts that you can use to negotiate on your products, scripts that you can use to help you write your listings. He sat and wrote this Profit Essentials toolkit to ensure that you can maximize profits. So it's essential plug and play template to scripts and systems to drive your profits up using the best negotiation emails. And it increases your sales and reviews using marketing and after tools. So this is going into your listings and the best way to write your listings. So Steve wrote that for us, and we value that at 1990 plus the VAT. I'll talk to you about how you can get your hands on that a little bit later. So creating your brand, pretty much anything can be worth being private labeled. If it sells, you can private label it. Anything at all, like we've used today. Light bulbs, phone screen protectors, travel chargers, pointers. I literally can walk around my house, and I'm sure you can, George, and find examples of white label products everywhere. Absolutely everywhere.
Belt.
There's about isn't no.
You could,
Yeah, you could. 100%, you could. Yeah, you could. I bought this belt because I liked the brand and I was being a bit of a that way, but I did get a good deal on it. So, but yeah, completely. It's private label products all over. I personally would stay away from clothing, just because sizes, preferences, brands. It's clothes. In an ideal world, I wouldn't touch clothes unless you've got a background in clothing and you know all about it. I wouldn't touch it personally. But anything can be private labeled, literally anything. And it's as simple as that. Select your supplier, design your branding, and the supplier sends it into Amazon. So how do we design a logo? I was asked that earlier. It's actually really easy because I'm not going to ask you to get your pen and pad out and draw a logo. Well, you could. It is a strategy people do, and we've got a lady called Kitty that you'll hear from later. She's got a design background, and that's what she's done. So she's designed her own logos, but I don't have a design background, and I haven't designed a single one of my logos. You can use Fiverr.com. Fiverr are anywhere from £5 to £30 for logo design. They will be simpler at the £5 end, but for around £20, you can get a pretty good logo designed, and usually you'll get a few changes with that. So you'd ask for a range of 3 or 4 logos, and you would get a few changes for that £20 to £30. Personally, unless it's a very simple or cheap product, I wouldn't want to pay a £5. I'd be looking to pay 20 to 30.
Did he send you an email with a...
Yes, so you'd go on Fiverr, you'd search logo design, it would bring up all the different designers. Again, you can see their reviews, their history, how many they've done.
Email them?
You just email them.
Right.
Just click the ones that you have of interest, give them a brief. This is what I'm doing, this is how I want it to look.
Got a box of bulbs, I'm looking
Yeah.
for a logo for them.
Yeah.
They show you samples of what they...
Yes,
and
they'll
then
you pick which one.
And then what you pay. Hello, take it from the credit card.
You can just do it on Fiverr. Just put it on. Just put your card details in, or use PayPal, or whatever. Yeah, it's very, very easy to do. But you do it through the Fiverr system, so you don't even need to speak to anybody.
Set up an account. Put
Yeah.
your details in.
Yeah.
Your card number in.
Yeah,
But
exactly
you
that.
can't call these people.
No, you couldn't.
No.
You couldn't, because they're all over the world. Some of them may be in India. Some of them may be in Indonesia. You can use UK ones, but obviously they tend to be a bit more expensive. So, but they can be all over the world, and that's the great thing. The great thing about not just this business, but any digital business, like all of a sudden your talent pool isn't just your area, like many businesses. When I had the bar, I had the talent pool of my town. Some businesses you might have a talent pool of the UK, maybe, if you're big
Global
enough.
market.
Yeah, you can use people from all over the world. I've used people in Palestine, I've used people in Indonesia, Thailand, all over to do various tasks and jobs for me. And it's fantastic because I can pick from that pool of people, and I can see the work they've done.
Is it not a bit overwhelmed as well? Like you've all these people.
I don't tend to use them at the same time.
Right. Narrow down.
Yeah, at the same time, I've got a girl who deals with like Amazon directly and any customer service issues, any issues at all. I've got a girl that does that. I've got a girl who does marketing for me, and I've got a bit of a warehouse team that help do that, but none of them are employed by me. They're all self-employed. But that's it. That's the people I work with regularly. I've had other people help me along the way, design new logos, design new things, but day to day, 3 people. And to be honest, I run my whole business on WhatsApp these days. I deal with every single one of them through WhatsApp, which is just a...
Can you give them details to the likes of people that are in the course or whatever? They can use?
Yeah, I can certainly pass on details of people that I've used and people that I use, yeah. Yeah, that's not a problem. People per hour is my favourite. I tend to use this exclusively, if I'm honest. And again, I've found all sorts. I've looked at app development because I think it would be nice for some of my stuff to have an app that comes along with it with tutorials and how-tos. So I've looked at app development, and there's all sorts of people on people per hour. And again, people per hour actually put them through exams and will tell you how good they are before you contact them. They rate them. So yeah, I really like people per hour, certainly my favourite. Upwork, I have used Upwork. It's very similar to people per hour. It's seen as a little bit more premium, but to be honest, I'm quite happy with people per hour. That's who I always use. And 99 Designs. Again, a bit more expensive. But all of these, any of these places, it's very, very easy to get a logo designed. Give them a brief. To be honest, even if you don't know how the logo wants to look, if you tell them what the product is, what you're looking to do, whether you're looking to be high-end, whether you want to be a cheap product, they'll design the logo around that for you. So really, really useful and makes life very easy. So logos in general. A page of logos. If you really start digesting, we see these logos every single day, but if you really start digesting them, none of them are particularly difficult. HP is a H and a P with a circle around it. Coca-Cola is just a font. And the great thing about font stuff, so that Solex, I guarantee you that is a free font because you can download royalty-free fonts online. If you were to Google a royalty-free font, you'll get a whole list of fonts that you can use on your products for free. And I guarantee that's all that is. Someone's just got a royalty-free font, they've typed in the name Solex and they've used it. They probably haven't even had anybody design it. So you don't, if you're looking at fonts, you don't even need someone to design it, you can just use text.
What does font mean? Just the name, is it?
Font, just the style, just the right type of writing. So like,
slanted or...
Yeah, just the style. Like that, Coca-Cola is a font. Amazon is a font. Just the shape of the letters.
Yeah.
They're just already done fonts, basically. That's all it is. If you look at Amazon, Amazon is just a font, really. Does anybody know why Amazon has the smiley face tick?
Because it looks good.
Is it a smiley face tick?
It's facing up, going up.
It is. I think I broke the laser on this pen. It is everything from A to Z.
Ah,
That was the thought pattern behind it. They sell everything from A to Z. So it was never actually a smiley face. They have now used it as a smiley face and they use it in their app and they've catalysed it. But originally, the arrow was A to Z.
Covers the wall.
And I actually found that an interesting fact. When Amazon first started, they were called Relentless. And if you still go on relentless.com now, it takes you to Amazon. I couldn't believe that. I had to physically Google it and find out. But if you put relentless.com in, it will take you to Amazon because that was originally going to be the name. But he chose Amazon off the back of the Amazon River, biggest river in the world. Hotmail, again, is just a font with a picture, looks like a clip art picture of an envelope next to it. Haribo is a font. Obviously, that teddy bear's been drawn, that's been designed. So, but a lot of these logos are simple. Google, it's a font with a few different colours in it. These are day-to-day logos that we see every day and that you probably don't digest or even look at. But when you actually really start to look at them, they're very simple. There's not a lot to them. Lego, a font with a colour line around it and a box. Simple, simple stuff. I would say the most complicated logos on there are the Haribo teddy bear and the Starbucks. Everything else is very simple and all of the websites that I've given you could design anything on there for you.
And what do you say to them? Like, they say, what's an outline of your business?
Yeah, you would say,
look, I sell beer, I'm looking for a bottle.
yeah, exactly that. You would say,
what's the market?
yeah, I'm selling beers, I'm targeting a younger market, 20-year-olds. The beer's got X, Y, and Z in it. This is the feel of the product that I want. Like if I was giving them a brief on this,
Yeah.
I'd say, just knock me something up for this screen protector because I'm just going to sell it cheap and sell in volume.
Right.
If I was asking them to do this, I'd say I want to do a high-end premium phone screen. So can we look to do a premium feel packaging?
Right. And then they send you ideas.
They'd send you the ideas, yeah, and you just work with them.
And just pick Yeah,
pick
like
what you
the
want.
button.
Yeah, exactly. And it's personal preference, you know. Whereas I might like this gorilla, you might hate it. You know, a lot of it, there is no right and wrong. But again, going back to communities and the support, it's good to have people that you can ask. Well, what do you think? Do you think this logo looks good, or do you think this logo looks good? And having that
someone
can be
come
quite
up-
useful. Yeah. But yeah, they'll knock up designs for you. They'll knock up a choice of designs. You pick the final one you want. You might say, actually, I like a little bit of that one and a bit of that one, and that would look better in blue, and change it if you want to, and you'll get a certain amount of changes for the price. Yeah.
Yeah.
But all of those logos, as you can see, wouldn't be very difficult for a designer to design up. And these are daily brands. So a bit of a test. Which one of these are the best?
The one on the right, far right.
Let's start from the green one then. So number one, the green one. Put our hands up. Which is the best? Who likes the green one most? Nobody? What about the blue? The next one? Nope. You've all got to put your hand up at some point. Yellow? Yellow, yeah? 2 for the yellow? Yakon syrup is a diet product. The yellow, 2 for yellow? And who likes the old school looking beigey colour one? 3 for that. Do you know, I've never asked this question in a room and got the same answer twice. It's completely personal preference. And more amazing than that, Yakon syrup is only made in one place in the world. It's a root from Peru, and there's only one factory in the world that make Yakon syrup. So every single one of them products is exactly the same. Every single one of their products has been made in the same factory with the same product, probably at similar times. But just off the back of that branding and that logo, 3 of you would buy that one, and 2 of you would buy the yellow one. And I've had it in days where a lot of people say they like the green because it looks organic.
So what was the majority?
I could never tell you. That's why I'm saying, like, it's completely personal preference. It's completely down to the person. You know, looking at today, 3 people said the old school one, but sometimes that can be the slowest one. But it's just down to, you're never going to please everybody, but all of those products are exactly the same with different branding. So do you think with the right guidance, you would be able to have your own private label business and your own private label product? I hope so, because otherwise I haven't explained it very well. Would we agree?
Yes.
Yeah?
It's really copying, isn't it?
Basically, in a nutshell, yeah. In a nutshell it is, but you know, in the right way. You're not trying to rip anybody off. Would we all agree? Fairly easy with the right guidance, it can be done. As I say, you're not reinventing the wheel. So if you do think moving forward that it will be difficult, we do have another course available, which is the Advanced Marketing and Branding. So this is once you've picked your product. Advanced Marketing and Branding, you can do things like social media, you can drive more sales with, and our expert, Jenny Platt actually used to teach here, and she is a real expert in marketing and branding. This is Kay. So Kay is another one of our students that came through the courses, and Kay's doing really well. These are actually, some of these are actually a little bit out of date. Kay's doing $100,000 a month, every single month now. Kay's doing really, really well. She's quite often here, to be honest. And Kay was she was another mother. She not long had a child. She worked for the NHS and was unhappy with her job, wanted something else. So that was why she picked Amazon. That